Today we announced that the federal government is investing in the Maroochydore Rugby Union Club to the tune of $157,000 to ensure that the females who play here at this club, and indeed the women who come to play here, have their own change room facilities. We're talking here about separate female toilets, showers and change areas. It's crazy to think that we have 45 females playing just at this club alone, that they have to share a change room with the men. I want to make sure that we see women's sport continue to grow. Frankly, the women are putting us blokes to shame when it comes to how they perform on the field. We need to ensure that not only they have the right training facilities, but they've got the right change facilities. And that is why we need to invest in change rooms so that the women can, after having the rough and tumble on the field, can go to their own change rooms and have their own showers, their own toilets and their own change facilities.
We're obviously, as a club, incredibly excited and delighted that we've managed to achieve this grant. It will make a huge difference to our women players. On game day, quite often you will see women's teams having to get changed on the sidelines because we do only have the male dressing rooms. And I think it's a great thing to show Maroochyd's support for the women's side of the game. So Maroochydore Club has always been incredibly supportive of women's rugby on the Sunshine Coast, and this grant is just a demonstration of their commitment to that at the grassroots level.
Now, the women's rugby also had its first competition on the Sunshine Coast, is that right, this year?
The women's sevens was up and running over the last season. Women's rugby on the Sunshine Coast has run previously in the open women's and the senior women's in various formats over the years, so since around 2009. It comes and goes, and often that is because there's not enough consistency from year to year. So we're building the numbers and we're hoping to get that consistency going forward from here. And certainly the success that our Aussie ladies have had overseas with Rio has made a huge difference to the game and to the number of people that play. But as a game, it's a fantastic confidence builder for women. I see girls come into the game who've never played a contact sport before, and the confidence that they get in themselves as they kind of come through and learn those skills and learn what they're capable of is just incredible, and it flows into all areas of their life. And so that's what we're about here, is really just giving that opportunity for women to get in there and play the game and have fun and get down and dirty and get into the tackles, and it's a great game. It's a lot of fun. So we're very, very thankful that we've got this opportunity to provide those facilities.
Being involved in the game for so long, what's it actually like sharing the change rooms with the men?
Yeah, it can be quite awkward. So even if you do manage to get into the change rooms, in between when the men's teams are in and out, the possibility that a male player is going to walk in while you're in the middle of getting changed is a very real likelihood. And so you've constantly got to be kind of making sure that you're not exposed in that way. So that's and that really plays on people's minds. The fact that it's not your own facility, that at any time a male player might accidentally walk into the bathroom. It's psychologically, that's not a good prep for you to get out there and play your best rugby. So it would be fantastic for the girls to have their own facility, to be confident in that, and also you can't discount the feeling of pride that you get as a female player when your club invests in you in this way, and when the state and the federal government, when you get that investment into women's sport, that's a huge thing for women like myself and like these girls who play a male-dominated sport. And historically, the women's game has been considered lesser, and so it's really important to the players to see that equality coming through in terms of facilities and things like that. So.
Well, on one hand, we have women playing at the topmost elite level in sport internationally. They come home and they've got to wait their turn to go into a male's change room. That doesn't make sense. The time has indeed come where we need to ensure that right across different sporting codes, women are treated equally, and that means their facilities. We can't have a situation any longer where we have women having to wait until the men clear out of change rooms. I mean, those days are gone. But that does take money. It does take investment, and that is why we're coming to the party for this.
Is there other clubs around the coast that will do the same thing? Do you expect to follow suit? Or?
Well, I would love to think that that clubs right across the Sunshine Coast will, over time, try to ensure that they've got the right facilities for both men and women. Obviously, it takes money, and the more grassroots you are, unfortunately, the harder it is to raise some of those funds. But where we can, as government, we need to step in.
Are you getting much interest, and do you think after the announcement of this, then that interest will increase?
There's an enormous amount of interest for female change rooms and toilets right across the country, and that's why this grant program has been so attractive. The demand exceeds supply, but we need to start somewhere, and I'm delighted that we're starting here at the Maroochydore Rugby Union Club.